I'll call the city council meeting to order. I apologize for our few minutes late here. We had great conversation in the study session. So I will call this meeting to order. May I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Elliott.
Here.
Councilmember Fitzhenry.
Here.
Councilmember Sandal.
Here.
Councilmember Garcia is absent this evening. Mayor Gotel.
Here. Tonight we have a couple of...
Motion, Madam Mayor, to excuse Councilmember Garcia for this evening.
Do we have to do that during the agenda? No? Okay. Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
And
Aye.
I would amend that to reflect both meetings, the earlier study session and this one. Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Tonight we have some folks for the open forum. Two of the items are on the agenda regarding my understanding of the electronic cigarettes. It's up to council if they would like to go ahead and open the forum to that.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay, we have in the past. I ask that those people, as I call you up, you only have about 3 minutes though. And please be concise, and we definitely want to hear your perspective. So first I have to speak in the open forum is Mary Barnes. And please remember when you're done to sign in. State your name and your address as you come up. Thank you.
Our monitors aren't working, appears to you.
Yeah, the monitor's working. Is the green light on? No?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
You're
it
doing
is.
great.
You know, I'll crowd around. Fine.
Mary Barnes, 7544 Bryant Avenue South since 1975. I'm here for a couple reasons, and I can probably do this in 2 minutes or less. Somebody this summer has had way too much time on their hands. First letter I got, dated June 21st, 2013, was resident 7544 Bryant. Didn't even take the time to look up John and Mary Barnes, that I'm having an illegal home occupation at my address. So, you know, John and I have never done anything in this city without asking first. So we try to do everything properly. So Matt said he would throw this one in the garbage, because what they complained about was John's equipment that was between our two garages. Okay, so that was done. Then, and I don't think there's a date on this one. Yes, there is. 8/17/13, code enforcement violation notice, 7544 Bryant. Garbage and refuge. Well, that one's pretty much sent me off the deep end, and I'm sure many of you heard my voicemail, and then I had to calm myself down and call 911 and say, all right, who exactly was badge number 384? Well, that was Officer Mahoney. After all of this happened, I made a call to Sue Sandal, Pat Elliott, Tom Fitzhenry, and in my head I'm thinking, all right, the men are saying, so what's Mary complaining about this time? Well, this time, normally I'd let this roll. I can't let it roll because as a city worker, and I know you're busy, you don't know what's going on in somebody's life. I mean, this seriously, I mean, that log with the blue tarp has sat there for 5 years. That was our 60-foot elm tree that came down when I lost my job at First American. That log sat there during all the construction, all the dust. If you could have seen me with my scissors on that Sunday, somebody said, probably wouldn't have wanted to have a policeman at my house. Well, actually, they're my friends. But anyway, and I did send back the card way back when about how I felt about the project on 76th Street, and it truly has been the project from Hades, because now again I'm living with all the dust, because we are responsible for taking care of that boulevard. So anyway, I've used my inhaler many times because I have asthma, and that is all I'm going to say.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight.
Well, one more thing.
Well, your time
We're
is
gonna
out.
if we're going to be forced to live in Edina, then put sprinklers in.
The next speaker is Alex Carlson.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Richfield City Council, thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Alex Carlson, and I'm a volunteer of the Board of Directors of Minnesota Vapors Advocacy. I'm also a former smoker of 15 years at 1 to 2 packs a day, thanks to the availability of my electronic cigarettes. I work as an instructor for Interstate Truck Driving School in South St. Paul. I'm here today as a representative to tell you that the Minnesota Vapors Advocacy is in full support and approval of Amendment 175 as written. We also encourage you to welcome the company that is proposing to open an e-cigarette lounge in the city. We agree that the city should restrict sales of the products to adults. The approach is being taken by the city matches Minnesota's already existing ban on sales of electronic cigarettes to minors, and imposing licensing to provide a way to punish those who do sell to minors is a wise course. But the Minnesota Vapors Advocacy hopes that you understand that electronic cigarettes are radically different from any tobacco product of the past 200 years because they do not contain tobacco. The Drexel University study, the most comprehensive study to date, that showed that there is 0 health hazards to bystanders and possibly 1/100th the health hazard to the direct user. Key findings from a recent clinical trial published in the Lancet Medical Journal find electronic cigarettes just as effective as the nicotine patch. The study found that significantly more non-quitters reduced their cigarette consumption by more than 50% in the electronic cigarette group than in the patch group. So not only did the electronic cigarette group have just as many quitters, but far more people reduced their cigarette use, which will be a great health benefit. The study also found that the people assigned electronic cigarettes were far more likely to recommend them to their friends. The authors of the study have admitted that the model they used, a cigarette look-alike, had very poor batteries, which impacts consumers' ability to use them to quit. This is an example of the type of cigarette look-alike used in the study. And this is more likely the type of electronic cigarette that will be sold at the e-cigarette lounge. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I think in the coming years you will see the smoking rate in Richfield and the surrounding areas will be lower thanks to the availability of quality electronic cigarettes. I would now like to have Nathan Affield give his testimony and allow you to ask any questions of him as to how electronic cigarettes work if you should choose. Mr. Affield is an employee of Smokeless Smoking, an electronic cigarette company which has multiple locations in the Twin Cities area. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. And sign in. You needed to sign in on, did you sign in on the sheet?
Oh, yes.
Please sign in. And so our next speaker is Nathan. Please come forward, state your name and address, and please remember to sign in. You have approximately 3 minutes.
I'll keep it short.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. My name is Nathan Affield. My address is, I listed the store's address actually, 8563 Lindale Avenue, Southeast in Bloomington, Minnesota. As mayor, members of the council, thank you for having me here. My name is Nathan Affield. I'm a volunteer member of the Minnesota Vapors Advocacy alongside Alex and a longtime employee of Smokeless Smoking in Bloomington, right in your backyard. We're a personal vaporizer retailer in Bloomington. Alex has covered most of the bases when it comes to vaporizers. I'd just like to add my own thoughts as a former resident of Richfield, employee of the surrounding area, and a professional when it comes to vaporizers, liquids, and their use. I think I speak for the vaping community at large when I say that we support SR 175, and we are in favor of requiring tobacco licenses for retailers. Even though personal vaporizers don't use tobacco, they're not actually emitting smoke. The licensing will keep stores honest, and they'll make them mindful of who they sell to. They also will accomplish 2 things for Richfield. There'll be more business for the city, as vaporizers are on pace to beat $1 billion a year as an industry. And 2, you'll have healthier citizenry, as vaporizers are almost infinitely healthier than tobacco-burning cigarettes and more enjoyable than other smoke-free alternatives like gum in the patch. I myself have been using vaporizer for about 4 years now, successfully quit smoking using them, and I love the convenience and control that I as a consumer have when using my vaporizers. Just urge you guys to support the growing business and industry of e-cigarettes in the coming years, as it's not only a financially sound decision, but it's also a decision that favors the health of your constituents. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Thanks for coming tonight.
I have a question.
Please.
One of the things that was mentioned in the, I believe it was a consent item, it talked about either nicotine or tobacco and lobelia. That
I'm
was,
sorry, I didn't quite make that out. The last
Do you
word?
want to remove that and have somebody talk?
yeah, we'll pull it out.
We'll pull it.
Yeah.
What number is that? Item K?
Okay.
All right, thank you. We'll pull that to item 6.
So maybe they should understand.
Yep, I'm sure.
So that item will come off the consent calendar, and we will be talking about it at the end of voting on the consent calendar.
So,
Sure.
if you want to sit around. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming. Appreciate that. Could I ask everybody to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I'd ask the approval of the minutes of the special city council meeting of August 13, 2013, the regular city council meeting of August 13, 2013, the special concurrent city council and HRA work session of August 19, 2013, and the special city council meeting of August 28, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have several presentations coming here, and first I believe, is Mr. Jim Rudolph here? I think I saw you there. It's going to be about the Richfield Back to School 5K Fun Run, so please come up to the mic and tell us all about that.
Mayor, council members, thank you for having me tonight. My name is Jim Rudolph, working with the Richfield Public School, Elementary School PTOs. And last year we kicked off the Richfield Back to School 5K annual event, and we ended up kicking it off to raise money to build a new playground for STEM Elementary School. Well, I'm happy to say that this summer we completed that and raised $250,000 with many different funds to build that. This year, we've decided to include all of the other elementary schools in Richfield to raise money to benefit the other elementary schools as well. So we've joined forces in the second annual Richfield Back to School 5K in coordination with the Open Streets of Penn Fest. So on September 15th, we will have a 5K and fun run. You can walk. And I would like to ask you, encourage you for our support and participation in the 5K.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Where will they go for more information?
You can go to richfieldbacktoschool5k.com, or you can go to active.com and register online, or you can go to Donaldson Park on Sunday, starting at 10 a.m. We'll have race day registration on site. And we'll have a lot of prizes. We've gotten a lot of support from the Minnesota Twins, Minnesota Timberwolves, as well as a lot of other prizes that we're going to be raffling off from the race. So you don't have to be a race winner to get some of the great prizes.
Oh, that's nice.
I have a question. Do we have to be a kid?
No, you don't.
Oh, good.
No,
And we can even walk.
you can even walk.
That's
We've
great.
got many folks that are participating and signed up that are walking.
Okay, that's great. Any way to move is great. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Next, we have presentations of the 2013 Landscape Good Neighbor Award. I think Julie Urban is here, and I'm going to help pass these awards out.
Mayor, members of the council, I actually have a little bit of a presentation first. I'll just go through, and then I'll let you know if we have some folks here. It'll be quick, don't worry.
Oh, you have pictures? Do you have pictures?
I have pictures, yes. So I'm here tonight, as you explained, to present the Landscaping Good Neighbor Awards, and we've given out these awards for 15 years now, and it's to recognize those residents that really help make our neighborhoods and the community a better place with their gardens and their landscaping. And it's always a fun thing to do. Oops. Hello? Sorry, let me try that again. There we go. So just quickly, what was new this year in 2013 is we did an online nomination form, and we also simplified the award into one overall category. We accepted nominations from block captains and neighbors, and we received 58 nominations this year. We ended up selecting 10 semifinalists, which we have awards for here tonight. And they will all receive a $15 Menards gift card courtesy of Richfield Bloomington Credit Union. We had volunteer judges that evaluated the properties based on aesthetic appeal, materials used, maintenance, and neighborhood impact. And those judges were from a local landscaping firm and from the garden club, as well as a city staff person, and we thank them for their work. The judges then selected 3 top finalists, and those top finalists will also receive additional gift cards from Wagner's and Linder's. And we want to say a special thank you to Linder's, to Wagner's, and to RBCU for their generosity. So the 2013 semifinalists or honorable mentions were Tim and Terry Baumgardner at 6830 Newton Avenue, Kenneth Bernier at 7639 15th Avenue, Joe and Pam Krasiniak at 1920 76th Street West, Bev Munson, 7027 Park Avenue, Kevin and Susan Roberts, 7344 Bloomington, Gloria Sexton, 7125 Garfield, and Bobby Yost, 6338 Thomas. And then our top 3 winners this year, and I will say that there were just a lot of really beautiful yards and gardens this year. It was very difficult to get it down to 10 and then down to 3. So we really thank all of the folks who were nominated. But our top 3, the first, Paul and Karen Case at 6938 Pleasant Avenue. Some of the comments the judges gave were very colorful and well-maintained. One of the most outstanding gardens. The use of color is amazing. And this one is hard to miss when you drive towards the high school. You can see this off to your right near the railroad tracks. The second is Phoebe Bernard at 7544 Pillsbury Avenue. And this one is off of the 76th Street Trail. And as the judges say, the backyard is especially lovely along the trail. And one of the judges mentioned that they're excited to see what's coming next. There's a new garden bed, obviously under construction. And then finally, Aubrey and Jolene Polk at 7500 14th Avenue. And the comments the judges made is that they have made great steps forward since being nominated last year. Love the rain garden, the nice variety, and it's very welcoming and cozy. So again, we want to thank all of those who were nominated for making Richfield a beautiful place and really improving their neighborhoods with their efforts. And so the mayor then has awards. I'm not sure who's here tonight, but if your name was mentioned, if you want to come forward, we've got some certificates and prizes for you. Anybody else here tonight? Okay, great. Well, I'll take care of distributing the rest.
Okay.
And that's all.
Well, this follows up that great, centennial that they had with the garden club too, with all the beautiful gardens too.
Yes.
So a lot going on in Richfield, a lot of beautiful gardens. It's really nice. So with that, we will move to council discussion. The first, we have a couple of items we need to discuss. A city council attendance at the National League of Cities Congress of Cities in Seattle, Washington, November 13th through 16th, 2013. I know one of the things is that city manager had requested that he would be able to go. I'm certainly in favor of letting our city manager go to these now and then. There's a lot of great information for him as well that he can always bring back.
Are other council persons who have never been to one available? No?
I know.
You know, to be honest with you, I can't schedule next week. Well, with it as busy as we've been, I apologize. But I'd like to say I could do it, but I have no way of knowing. I really don't control my own destiny.
Well, I would be interested, but I need to check.
Okay, I would be interested as well. I think I'm available, but you're not. No.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Sue, maybe you and I. Is council in agreement that that would be okay to send two if that's available?
Absolutely.
Just,
Okay.
okay. And then hats off to Hometowns Hit. Can I start first? Because I need the assistance of Tom Fitzhenry. I need to put a flyer up here.
I'll be your video person again.
The benefits of the job.
Yeah, closest to that.
Oh, and I have several of these to pass out, too. So you guys can pass these around. This one's up. Go up. This one up. There we go. So now I'm gonna learn how to do this. Okay, all right. And actually, I tried to get somebody from the Richfield Foundation, but unfortunately, our chair and vice chair are both busy tonight. So as a member of the Richfield Foundation, and so is our city manager, we're both acting members, I'm going to present their next new great event that's coming to town. And you probably, this autumn wine and cheese gathering, would have known it as the Rotary's wine and chocolate event. And we had talked to the Rotary about this, and they no longer are doing this event. And it's such a great event, and it was so successful, and there was such great attendance that we decided to try to bring it to Richfield. And one of the great things about bringing this wonderful event to Richfield is that we're using it right in the BMO Bank building, called the Wood Lake Center, but most of us know it as the BMO Bank building. It's also where Houlihan's is. And it's October 10th, 6:30 to 9. If you want to get tickets, you can buy them online, or you can go to any of the Richfield liquor stores and get this. There will be over 100 wines there for you to taste. So I'm hoping for a great attendance here. These are not wines that are usually in our wine stores necessarily either, so you'll have the opportunity actually to pre-order these wines if you want to buy some of them that night at a discounted rate. So I just wanted to let people know about that. And you're flipping the page for me so they can see that where the location is and the time of the event and the different liquor stores. All the liquor stores have them, and we're selling them here at City Hall as well? Yes, at City Hall too, so you can stop in. So you could do it at the liquor stores. The other thing is that Eichton's cheeses will be there. So you'll get to try cheese pairings with that, and you can purchase cheeses. We will have hors d'oeuvres. There will have heavy hors d'oeuvres there because people will be drinking wine. Houlihan's is also offering a special dinner before and after the event. So those who would like to get couples together and come to that can also do that. We'll also have some door prizes, and there will be the wall of wine. Everybody loves the wall of wine. I think we're close to 75 bottles of wine donated for that wall of wine, and you purchase tickets for that. I think it's going to be $10 a ticket or 3 tickets for $25, and somebody takes home all that wine. So it proves to be a great night. You know, a lot of great Richfield people come, but we draw from everywhere. So I hope to see a lot of you there. And you'll see a whole bunch of us members of the Richfield Foundation out hawking tickets. So don't be surprised if I approach you. So thank you. Okay,
Let him-
Councilmember Sandal.
Yes, we are fortunate to have David Gepner in the audience, and I would like to have him come up and tell us everything that's going to happen at PennFest coming up on September 15th.
Thanks, folks. September 15th is this coming Sunday, and this is an annual event, a community event that Richfield has been having for the last 5 years. Penn Avenue is closed all the way from the crosstown to 76th Street. The street is open for street activities, so people will be walking and biking, mothers will be pushing their strollers, kids will be going up and down the street on their rollerblades or their skateboards. There'll be a variety of things that they can stop and see and do. There's a lot of spontaneity, so that we don't even know all that will happen. And, you know, come for the surprises. This is this Sunday. It's from noon to 5. One of the highlights is the BMX adult stunt bikers that will be doing 3 shows throughout the afternoon. The aspect of open streets that is near and dear to my heart is the biking choices. People are starting to catch on as to what Open Streets is about, and they're coming in numbers on their bikes. And this year in particular, elementary students are being encouraged to come and bike across Richfield. There's a new trail that goes from the east and the west side, and there's an incentive for those elementary students who do so. There is going to be a ambassador passport person at each end who will stamp a passport, and if they bring that completed passport to Penn Cycle, they get a bike headlight, a $12.50 value, and something that will make it worthwhile for them to make the journey. And more importantly, the hope and idea is that maybe they'll make that journey with their families, and then their family will bike up Penn Avenue to take in all the events that are happening there. The traditional Rip Beer Floats at Lund's is happening again. There are 11 different musical venues, so folks with any type of musical choice will probably have something that they'll enjoy listening to. And the big thing is as a community event, it's a meet and greet. Come and see your neighbors. It's going to be a great day, and I know all our council people are going to be there shaking hands and kissing babies. So if you're a baby or you want your hand shaked, come out to PennFest. We'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you. David, I'm more likely to be hula hooping on the south end.
Okay, we will look forward to that.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Fitzhenry?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I'll be on the motorcycle escorting the
Oh, right.
runners. Wanted to bring up that on August 27th, we didn't have a council meeting, but we did attend Keith Ellinson's meeting about airport noise, just to let our folks know. Most of it was venting by neighbors in Minneapolis and other areas. They took comments. We did talk to his staff before time, let our comments known. They only gave you 1 minute at that whole session. And it was obvious to us that there's a lot of people that aren't informed about what PBN is and that. And hopefully our residents have been paying attention to it. We have skylines that can go on our website, and I think I talked to somebody earlier today. Go on there and get the emails. You can sign up for all these great emails on our website to kind of tell you what's going on so you don't miss the meetings. And I also suggest, if you have interest in what's going on, is to go to macnoise.com and look up what's happening with the airport. You can put your address in, you can watch the planes that are going overhead and that, and educate yourself that way so you understand really what RNAV, or what they call performance-based navigation, is. It is a benefit to the city of Richfield. What was interesting is the comment I wanted to make is the people in the room that were in that Washburn High School were new people. There were people that are now experiencing noise, and who wasn't in the room are the people that used to experience the noise. And so we do understand that the change in flight paths did affect different people, but our position is to put them back over the spots where they were supposed to be when we mitigated homes. And so if there's any questions, you could comment to me or write me an email on that, but I do suggest going to Mac Noise and educate yourself so you understand what the process is all about. So, thanks.
Councilmember Elliott.
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Rudolph and Mr. Gepner stole all of my thunder except one suggestion I'm going to make at the end. But Mr. Rudolph indicated that you should join us for a great day of family fun and lace up your sneakers. I know that a lot of people had a lot of fun at that 5K race last year. And once again, my expectations this year greatly exceed what the open streets was like last year. And I stood up on the hill up by Lund's and looked down, and 7,000 people out walking, conversing, eating, and having a great time. And I think this year is going to be any better. And I might just suggest that anybody that thinks the Vikings are worth staying inside and bothering yourself with, I will guarantee you Christian Ponder is not going to reprise any semblance of a competent NFL quarterback. So come outside and join us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're here. Thank you. Anything else, Councilman?
That does it.
Okay. Okay, all right then. How do you really feel about the Vikings?
Well, I love the Vikings. I've got a problem with the quarterback.
I know, they could have started out better. I'll ask council's approval of the agenda with one change, removing item K from the consent calendar to item 6.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent calendar, City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Tonight we have a very long consent calendar. And for those folks at home and those in the audience, the consent calendar contains several separate items which are acted upon by the City Council in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and the recommended actions will also have been approved, and no further council action on those items will be necessary. We start off with item A, which is consideration of approval of continuing the public hearing on to September 24th, 2013, regarding a resolution authorizing the City of Richfield to seek a $200,000 Minnesota Investment Fund loan from the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, or DEED, to assist the Solera Corporation in locating to Richfield. Item B is consideration of the approval of the appointing of the firm of Kern DeWinter as the city's auditor for the financial reporting years 2013 and 2015, and authorize the city manager and mayor to execute an agreement for those services. Item C is consideration of the approval of the agreement to extend an easement as part of a site lease agreement at 7401 Logan Avenue between the City of Richfield and Sprint Spectrum LP. Item D is consideration of the approval of a resolution declaring costs to be assessed and ordering the preparation of the proposed assessment rule for weed elimination from private property and removal or elimination of public health or safety hazards from private property, and setting the public hearing for October 8th, 2013. Item E is consideration of the approval of a resolution declaring costs to be assessed and ordering preparation of the proposed assessment rule for unpaid false alarm user fees against private property, and setting the public hearing for October 8th, 2013. Item F is consideration of the approval of the first read of an ordinance relating to the interest rate for internal loans from the city's Permanent Improvement Revolving Fund, or PIR fund, amending section 31507 of the Richfield City Code. Item G is consideration of the approval of hiring Kimley Horn and Associates to provide preliminary engineering services for Portland Avenue between 67th and 77th Streets, the reconstruction project, at a cost not to exceed $315,000. Item H is consideration of the approval of the bid minutes and tabulation and award of contract for the water treatment plant soda ash feed system to Shank Contractors Incorporated, and the amount of $402,050, and to authorize the city manager to approve contract changes under $50,000 without further council action. Item I is consideration of the approval of the first reading of an ordinance relating to hoarding as a nuisance affecting public health. Item J is consideration of the approval of the first reading of an ordinance relating to lawn maintenance and prairie vegetation and declaring noxious weeds and inadequately maintained vegetation to be a public nuisance. Item K has been pulled, as you previously mentioned. Item L is consideration of the approval of a request for a temporary expansion of the licensed premises for Lariat Lane, 6320 Penn Avenue, to allow for the outside service of strong beer on September 15th, 2013, in conjunction with Richfield's Open Streets at PennFest event. Item M is consideration of the approval of a temporary parking lease agreement for Richfield Bloomington Honda to use the city-owned property at 7700 Pillsbury Avenue for employee parking. And finally, item N, consideration of the approval of an agreement with Wold Architects to perform professional services in the design of a locker room addition to the ice arena not to exceed $32,865 unless the city gives approval to expand the project. And that concludes tonight's consent calendar.
I'll move the calendar.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Consent calendar. Council member, I'll let you read and.
Thank you. This has to do with one of the earlier discussion items in the open forum. This is a first reading of an ordinance relating to tobacco and regulation of nicotine or lobelia delivery devices and establishing additional penalties for noncompliance. And as I understand it, what it's doing is treating electronic cigarettes or e-cigarettes as cigarettes, as nicotine in terms of the ordinance, so that all of the other laws that would apply, it makes it clear that they apply to these particular items. I had a question about what lobelia was, because I think when I hear that word, I think of a garden plant. So I'm just curious to know, what is lobelia, if anybody here does know? And gentlemen present don't. Does our attorney know?
Madam Mayor and Council, lobelia it's a plant substance. Actually, it's my understanding, based on my limited knowledge, is that comes from a tropical plant family that's often used as a smoking substance. So it's it's used in ordinances that I've seen and also in other legislation as falling into this category of a substance. So
Okay.
that's what I know.
All right. Well, I have no objection to passing the ordinance.
Well, do you want to make a motion?
I will do that. I move that we approve the first reading of the attached ordinance relating to tobacco and regulation of nicotine or lobelia delivery devices and establishing additional penalties for non-compliance.
Second.
Any discussion?
If I may, based on the confused looks on the faces of the people that spoke to us a little bit earlier, I don't think lobelia is going to be served there, so. No, that's fine. I just wanted to make the comment. You looked as confused as I did, so.
Yeah.
That one's a new one. When it comes to personal vaporizers, it's no actual plant.
Okay.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And Councilmember Sandal, you have the next two items.
Thank you. I have item number 7. And this is a public hearing and regarding the special assessment role for removal of diseased trees from private property for work ordered in 2012. And under city code, it's determined that health of trees within municipal boundaries, if it's threatened, it's the city's responsibility to control and prevent the spread of tree diseases. And so when necessary, the city lets people know if they have a diseased tree, and the property owners then have 4 options regarding removal of the tree. They can do it themselves, they can hire and pay for their own contractor, they can hire the city's contractor and pay for the removal outright, or they can request that the city remove the tree and then ask that it be assessed against their property taxes. And in 2012, there were 20 property owners who chose that option to put it against their taxes. And the nice thing about that is these are fairly expensive propositions. They range from, I think, $3,300, $900, and I guess the least expensive was $406, all the way up to $4,200. So that's pretty expensive taxes, or not taxes, but expense if you had to pay it in 1 year. But by putting it on your property taxes, it allows the homeowner to pay for it over 5 years and makes the cost of that much more affordable. And so we have a number of people that have asked to have that done. And with that, I will open the public hearing.
This is a public hearing. Would anybody like to come forward and talk about this particular item on the agenda? Anyone?
Move to close.
Second?
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Councilmember?
All right, I would like to move that we approve the attached resolution adopting the assessment for removal of diseased trees from private property for work ordered from January 1, 2012 through December 31st of 2012.
Second. Further discussion? I think this is a great program. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Makes it affordable for all of us. Councilmember, you have the next one.
I do. This is item number 8, and this is also a public hearing, and we will make some adjustment from what was originally in our printed materials. We will be continuing this matter until October 8th, but we will take public testimony now. And this is regarding assessing commercial properties in the 77th Street Assessment District for costs incurred to maintain the area for the year 2012. And we've been doing this since 1988, when the city put in all of the high-cost, high-quality improvements along the 77th redevelopment area between I-35 and Cedar Avenue. And the city created a special maintenance service district, which included irrigation, weeding, and mowing of the landscaping on both sides of the 77th Street wall. And those current services are funded by special maintenance assessments against the businesses along 77th Street. And what's being proposed is that the city council would, once the second hearing takes place, Approve resolutions that assess $78,000 overall against the properties for that work. And then it spells out, each person gets assessed according to, I believe it's the size of their property. So we can call for a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. Would anyone like to come forward to speak to this agenda item? Anyone? You have one comment?
Mayor, members of the council, I'd just like to remind you that I just handed out a letter of protest from the Canadian Pacific,
Yes.
and that should be included in the record, and that we will be contacting them. We just got this today and haven't had a chance to discuss it with them, and we'll make sure to do that before we resume the public hearing in October.
Okay, and Councilmember Elliott?
Mike, one question. In reading the protest, it seems to be, the way this is written, I don't know if they've got a new real estate manager, but somehow taken by surprise. I'm assuming they've been assessed every year that this has been in place.
Yes, that is true,
So,
Mayor, members of the
okay,
council.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Well, so this is going to be continued, so this item will remain open until our next meeting. Okay. Councilmember Elliott.
Thank you, Your Honor. This item involves a public hearing regarding the attached resolutions pertaining to the annual Lindale Hub Nicollet LHN maintenance assessment process. Similar to Councilmember Sandal's, these are our long-standing processes. LHN maintenance assessment was established to recover extraordinary maintenance expenses in the LHN area in 1981. These services include irrigation, weeding, and mowing of landscaped areas. The area is approximately bounded by 64th Street, First Avenue, 67th Street, and Emerson Avenue. The public hearing notice was published in the official newspaper on August 29th and September 5th, and notice of the public hearing for the proposed maintenance costs in 2012 was mailed to all owners on the assessment roll of August 21st, 2013, meeting the 2-week notification period. With that, Your Honor, I'd ask you to call a public hearing regarding this matter.
The public hearing is open. Would anyone like to come forward to speak to this particular agenda item? Anyone? Seeing anyone for the public hearing?
Move to close the
Second.
public hearing.
All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? The public hearing is closed.
At this time, I would move to adopt the attached resolution proposing to assess commercial properties in the Lindale Hub Nicollet District for costs incurred to maintain the area for 2012, and adopt the attached resolution proposing a similar assessment process to be implemented for 2014.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You have the next item.
Thank you, Your Honor. This item for consideration is an ordinance relating to streetlight banners. Basically, it's requesting the approval to issue Penn Central of Richfield a permit following the second reading of the ordinance. The Public Works Department is proposing a streetlight banner ordinance to the city code as a new section 855. This is the second reading, so I'll just hit the highlights. The ordinance would allow decorative and event-oriented streetlight banners within public rights-of-way to aid in the promotion of the city and the community. City staff is also requesting approval for Penn Central to move forward with a decorative banner permit application with issuance of a permit following the second reading of the ordinance. This would allow for the installation of banners in time for Penn Fest, Penn Open Streets, which is scheduled for September 15th, 2013. With that, Your Honor, at this time, I would move to approve the second reading of the attached ordinance related to streetlight banners, approve resolution for summary publication of ordinance, and approve Penn Central streetlight banner permit.
Second. With enthusiasm.
Yes, I think this is exciting. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We were really rolling tonight. Councilmember Fitzhenry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The item under consideration is approval of a site plan to allow an adult daycare serving up to 29 persons at 6722 Penn Avenue. Chinese Social Service Center has applied for a permit to operate an adult daycare serving up to 29 persons. A change in the use of building permit requires a site plan approval. This building was previously used as an office and meeting space. A daycare serving up to 29 persons requires 6 parking spaces. 8 parking stalls are provided on the site. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the site plan on July 22nd of 2013. The property management company is aware of site improvements that must be completed before the certificate of occupancy can be granted, including striping the parking lot with an accessible parking space and constructing an enclosure for trash containers. Additionally, an awning or covered entryway will be installed to bring the building into compliance with the Penn Avenue corridor guidelines. Change in use of building requires a site plan approval. These are the policies. Daycare use requires 1 parking space per 5 enrolled persons. The proposed center will serve 29 persons and thereby required 6 parking stalls. The proposed site plan includes 8 parking stalls adjacent to the north side of the building. An accessible parking space and loading area must be striped in accordance with the ADA requirements. The site includes landscape planting facing Penn Avenue. The plantings must be maintained to meet the intent of the Penn Avenue design guidelines. The site is legally non-conforming with regard to the impervious surface coverage. There is an opportunity to add a limited amount of pervious surface behind the building. However, staff does not believe that there would be any tangible benefit. In evaluating the site plan, the Planning Commission and the Council shall consider its compliance with the 7 criteria outlined in subsection 547.13 of the City Code and further articulate in the attached document. So what I'd like to do is make a motion that we approve the attached resolution granting a site plan approval for a daycare serving up to 29 persons at 6722 Penn Avenue South.
I'll second. Is there further discussion?
I have a question.
Wait, go ahead, please.
Is someone from the group here?
Right there.
I'm looking at a picture that was provided to us which shows some fairly nice green and flowering shrubs in the front of the building. And I'm just wondering if your landlord has painted the front yet. It was paint flecking off the,
This side.
On the
off
front
of,
and the side, you can see it
Yeah.
on the picture.
yeah.
It
Okay,
has-
so that's no flecking paint anymore. Yeah, okay, good, because it looked pretty bad in the picture. So,
I'm very familiar with that building. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilmember Fitzhenry, you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, again. The item under consideration is consideration of award of a contract for East Route Bloomington Avenue portion of the Federal Bikeways Project. Earlier this summer, the city received bids for both East Bloomington Avenue and West, which is Humboldt, bike routes, including the Federal Bikeways Project. The bid far exceeded the project budget and was rejected. The plans were then modified to eliminate the West route in order to rebid only for the East route before the grant sunsetted on December of 2013. Bids for the work were opened on August 29th, 2013. AAA Striping Service was the lowest responsible bidder. The project consists of signage on street markings. There is no change to parking except on Bloomington Avenue from Diagonal Boulevard to 66th Street, where parking will be restricted on the west side of the roadway. There were 3 meetings held for the East Connection route on the following dates: March 3rd of 2010 at Mount Calvary, April 22nd, 2010 was a joint meeting at the Richfield Community Center, and June 23rd, another joint meeting at the Richfield Community Center. On August 31st, 2010, staff visited the residents on Bloomington Avenue, the blocks where parking would be restricted on one side of the street. Of the 54 properties visited, 17 were at home at the time. A flyer with information and contact info was left at every house. After the project delay, staff again visited residents on Bloomington Avenue on January 20th, 2011. That time, contact was made with 18 of the 54 residents. A follow-up visit was made again on February 1st, 2011 to further emphasize the request for comment on the proposed project. Most recently, the attached mailing was sent to the residents along the East Route portion of the project in June 2013. I'd go through the rest of the stuff, but it gets lengthy unless we want to have comment from Mike Eastling, or I'll go ahead and make the motion then. By motion that we accept the bid, minutes, tabulation, and award contract to AAA Striping Services in the amount of $266,280.88 for the east route, known as Bloomington Avenue portion of the Federal Bikeways project.
Second.
Any discussion?
If I may,
Please.
Mike, is this contract really only involves signage and striping?
That is correct. Now, I
How many
think,
blocks?
let's see, from 62 to 72nd or first, right in there, yeah.
What's all on the map here?
Can
Oh,
you,
yeah.
I mean, you're the engineer of the group, I mean, because I'm in the process of contemplating a career change. What does it, how can it be $266,000?
Well, one striping is more expensive than you think, especially when we got a special thermoplastic kind of striping that should stay in place for many years. Many times, even after one snow season, you have to come back and restripe, so it's kind of an annual event, or at least every other year.
So the product drives the cost?
Yes, this product is one that is going to stay in place for a long period of time, and it is very costly, but it saves in the repeat and in the maintenance costs.
I want you to know I asked the same question last time.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
approximately how long does it take them to finish the project?
It doesn't take very long after they get it cleared out, and
was
I'll
gonna
have
say
to
that
get the
hourly
exact
rate's
time. It's
looking
like,
pretty good to me.
yeah, I think it's in material cost. It's mostly in the material
Okay,
cost.
as long as it's material cost.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I'm just looking at that now, and when it was the 550 for the Bloomington and the Humboldt, I couldn't put that in any sort of context. Where was I when you asked?
I don't know, but I know I asked.
I
it was
remember, I
asked.
recall. Councilmember Sandal, you have a comment?
Yeah, I had checked, there was the grant was about 269,000 and this bid came in at 266 something. And I asked Mike to check to see, can we use the rest of that money for bicycle racks or something useful? And you were going to check on for me.
Yes, I did. And well, first of all, I should say, staff time was eligible for this. We spent that money many times over in this.
Okay, no
And
problem.
I'd have to say, federal funding in this amount of money and what you have to go through to get it done has been a very painstaking operation. And some of this bicycle stuff is hitting the regulators at MnDOT, and they're not certain what to do, so it took a long time to get answers. This has been a very long, difficult process and very staff-intensive.
Okay, I have no problem with that, I just don't want to return any money to the federal government.
We've spent that 3,000 many times over.
Okay.
Okay, there's been a motion, it's been seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the next item is consideration of the 2013 revised 2014 proposed budget resolution adopting 2014 preliminary property tax levy, setting truth and taxation hearing date, authorizing budget revisions, and authorizing revisions of the 2013 budget of various departments. On August 28, 2013, a special city council meeting was held for the purpose of presenting and discussing the 2013 revised 2014 proposed budget and 2014 preliminary property tax levy. Consequently, as a result of this meeting, the City of Richfield's preliminary gross tax levy is currently set at $18,012,303, which includes a levy for general fund operations of $14,870,076, a debt service levy of $2,142,316, a tax abatement levy of $299,222, and an equipment and technology levy of $700,000. The 2014 preliminary gross levy represents a 1.15% increase from the 2013 gross levy. In addition, the city must certify its proposed property tax levy for payable year 2014 to the county auditor and set a date for its truth and taxation public meeting on or before September 16th, 2013. The truth and taxation public meeting must be held between November 25th and December 30th and must occur at 6 p.m. or later. The city's truth and taxation public meeting is scheduled for December 3rd, 2013, on 6 p.m. at the City of Richfield Municipal Center. So with that, I will call the motion and we can have a discussion. I will ask to adopt the attached resolution establishing the 2014 preliminary property tax levy and proposed date for truth in taxation hearing, authorizing budget revisions and authorizing revisions of the 2013 budget of various departments.
Second.
I just want to say that, you know, year after year, I've always tried to talk to staff about keeping our budget, first of all, a balanced budget, which we've always done. We've always had great financial awards and everything for what we do, but also to try not to have huge variability and everything like this. And I take my hats off. Thank you again for coming in and doing that again and not burdening. You know, we've had some really, really tough years, and some people are still struggling. Thank you again. 1.5% is incredible, and we're still delivering really great services to us.
That's why I just wanted to
Please.
make a correction. I mean, I think that when you read it, it was 1.15 as opposed to 1.51. I
excuse
just wanted
me.
to make sure the
Yeah,
listening public.
1.51, excuse me.
Didn't
If I,
think somehow that we were playing a game. with
No,
it,
no,
so,
no.
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, you get to reading all these numbers, please,
Yeah.
Chris.
I just have one comment I want to make with regards to the Truth and Taxation meeting. In the past, we've always had it at 7 p.m. I've got it set in here at 6 p.m. I don't know if the council has a preference. They can put it back to 7 p.m. tonight, or we can still do it at 6 p.m. I just thought an hour earlier might be easier for people and things like that. But if the council chooses to put it back to 7, now's the time to do that. And it doesn't matter to staff or anything like that. So
Council?
I don't know what your preference is.
What date is that on?
It's Tuesday, I think.
Okay.
Of course, it's a Tuesday night. I
Tuesdays
can do
are,
it, it's fine.
Tuesdays are always set at 7. I don't know what I do with that extra hour. You know. We're here at 5:30 or 6 every Tuesday anyhow.
Yeah, we have the study sessions anyway, so I can do 6. if
6 is
everybody else.
fine.
We just need to make sure that we tell Edwina because she's not here.
Okay.
Councilmember Garcia. Okay, are there other things that staff would also like to say?
Well, I
Please,
would
City
just like to
Manager.
add that even though we have a 1.51 tax levy increase, I would suspect that for most people, now this won't be everybody, but for most people in Richfield, the city portion of their property tax will probably be flat or actually go down a little.
Yeah, and I also want to alert people too that because of what has happened in the past administrations with local government aid being pulled out from under us after we've certified our budget, that we have still stayed the course to try to move ourselves off of that. So when we get the LGA, we use it for special projects, again, to keep taxes down, but in a different way, so that we're not reliant upon that. And we're doing that yet again. So I just want to say thank you. We're still moving forward on that project, and I think it's vital because we never know what's going to happen. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item passes, and we have city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. The only thing I want to bring up is that now we're looking for HRA, potential HRA commissioner applicants, and we'll have to set up some interview times to interview those prospective applicants.
Yes.
And that's what I'd like people to do, if you could. Please.
When do the applications close?
Do you know, Cheryl, when they close?
October, good. October, that's what I was going to, October 4th.
That's the deadline or the
When it closes.
October 4th? Okay.
Any applications yet?
Okay, so this is a reminder to anybody listening.
It is a reminder. I mean, we've done this process in the past. If there are some individuals that would be interested in serving on the HRA, there's a form that we have that they should fill out, and that's available on the website, as I understand it. That's correct. And they should take a look at that and submit an application, and they would be interviewed then by the city council, and ultimately an appointment would be made by the mayor, ratified by the city council.
And I know I have approached some people, so I think we'll see some in.
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong also, but I think we wanted to give ourselves a little bit more time for a little bit more in-depth discussion with the applicants. Yeah, isn't that
We
way
went
it
at
went
about
last
5 or
time?
6 minutes apiece, I
That-
think, because it's usually less of them, and that's,
I don't remember how long we had last time.
I need to check a calendar schedule and stuff to see about this. This could be a little bit difficult for me, but I'll find out, because I know I have some other obligations for some travel?
I'd be more comfortable if we, once we determine the applicant, setting a time frame, because, sometimes 5 minutes on a position that you're there and you're making a lot of crucial decisions for the city may not be quite enough.
Well, let's see how many applicants we get. Let's see how much we get. I'm not sure how we'll do that, but,
Okay.
so we'll have to all be online to take care of that.
Yeah.
So we
I
won't
mean,
know
all I
the-
would say is when
yeah.
applications close on the 4th, we'll let you know immediately how many applicants
Okay.
you have. And I think and we'd have to get something going pretty quickly then to get,
Yes.
to get our interviews set up, because October, that month, the HRA meeting in October would be the first meeting that person would sit in, or would it be in November?
November,
November. So, you've got a little bit of time.
yeah. But I know how busy your schedule is too, and I know mine is too. Okay. Well, we'll do what we can. We'll
So-
figure it out.
So for folks at home who are interested, the HRA meets the third
Monday?
third Monday of each month. And HRA stands for the Housing and Redevelopment Authority, and we've got some important things coming before this body, so it's so important that we get really good people and qualified people and people that have an interest in improving Richfield. And the applications will close on, is it at the end of the day, 4:30? 4:30 on Friday, October 4th, and they are currently open, and the application can be found on the city website.
Mhm.
So,
Thanks.
or if you don't have a computer, I assume you could call City Hall and we would send you one.
Or come in and fill it out.
If you don't have a computer, no, we won't send a computer, no, we won't do that. But we will send you an application. So,
Any other items? Claims and payroll.
So move.
second.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Seeing no further items, I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.